How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with The Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Dark Ride, issue number 3. This just came out, written by Kevin Williamson, with art by Andrei Bressan. And overall, another really good issue, and you can really feel things starting to heat up. Now, I read in the letters page, towards the end, I think it's the editor, sort of implied that the next one is going to be the end of the first plot arc, which would mean they're doing that whole 4-issue trade thing, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I know that the number of issues in a plot arc, which should translate to a trade paperback, is kind of been up for debate. It was 6 for the longest time, and now it seems like a lot of books are doing 4, which I think is a little thin. However, that being said, issue 1, I believe, was thicker, so it may be, more than your standard 4. But you can see the book is itching up to some sort of big event towards the end of it. Something is going to happen that is going to be really big and extreme and crazy, and I really am looking forward to that. The book does a good job of sort of balancing and changing and carefully moving this plot in the right direction. We get some cool violent inciting incidents in part 1, but a lot of this early plot arc is meeting the family, the 2 siblings, Sawane and Halloween, and figuring out who they are and what they're trying to do for the park and just how much each of them really knows. You are building really strong foundations, and there is a really cool world, learning all this stuff about what the theme park is, all the different rides and its history. That's all interesting. And one thing I am thinking of as we move to this big, end of plot arc is the big stuff, because there are horror moments in this book. There are lots of fun and crazy stuff. I mean, the ending of each of the past 2 issues, and this one as well, has something really horrific happen each time. But it's never been just the absolute insanity, the all-out horror breakout type thing, and I am really curious when we do get what it's probably going to be, the mascots running amok. When we do get to that extreme stuff, it is hard to go back to your baseline, and that's sort of the thing is, if the theme park keeps getting too dangerous, who would still work there? How would it stay open? You do got to keep the violence and the insanity, at least on the surface, kind of low-key to, the outside world, and it is something I'm thinking about as we go forward, is, how the plot structure will be and how crazy it gets. And towards the end of this one, there's this really fun sequence that takes place at night where we can see the craziness starting to come out, and I really am looking forward to the book shifting more in that direction with more open in-your-face horror elements. So I really am curious where this is going, but once again, good characters, good story, good world, and that last little bit leading to this really fun over-the-top horror, I really can't wait for it. So, another good issue, setting up for the finale. If you guys want to see a little bit more, I'm going to switch to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys a little story, a little art, but no major spoilers. Without further ado, to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Dark Ride issue number 3. Let's go ahead and bring this closer to the camera. We can see that the title is purple this time around. I believe it does change every time, which is cool. And then we get the very striking image. The park, it's late at night after hours. These are all little jack-o'-lanterns lighting up the scene in this sort of red-orange light. And then, of course, the costume characters eating a guy. Ton of blood and guts. But the only real thing we can tell what it is are the guy's shoes. Yeah, again, another case of this doesn't happen verbatim in the comic, but it wouldn't surprise me if this happened in the near future, because, yeah, those costume characters, something's definitely up with them. But we get to see all three of them, and they're all striking a good gory pose, and there's, signs to the other attractions with blood on it, and then, bloody corn instead of popcorn, which is super appropriate to what's happening here. And we even get this little orange patch of light that kind of gives it a more circular motif. A pretty cool cover. The back, we once again have the Danny DeEvil in the coffin, and we get 00311, rated M for mature. And if we crack this thing open, once again, for the credits, here lies Joshua Williamson, creator and writer, Andrei Bressan, creator and artist, and then we get all the other credits, Skybound, Image, all that stuff. And then on the back, we do have the cover gallery. Next issue will be available January 11th. That'll be the first 2023 issue, and we get a sort of ad for all the different covers. I think this one is your A, and it's kind of sad that, this is more an ad than a cover gallery, but you really, when they overlap, you have parts cut off. And, Halloween is sitting on some sort of throne with her chalice. You don't really get to see a lot of the throne there because it is kind of blocked off. But yeah, 2 for her, 2 for Danny, and I do love the DuckTales spoof there. Instead of Scrooge, and then instead of gold, it's all these skulls. Oh, and even little nephews for him. That's fun. But anyway, after that, we get the story proper. Now that being said, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the story and a little bit of the art, but no major spoilers. I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and get you guys the hook there. But anyway, that being said, no spoilers for this issue. I will be talking openly about 1 and 2 because we kind of have to with how this opens. The little girl wanted to inspire a ride for her father, and a mysterious voice in the closet got her to cut herself. Very bad, very scary, very dark and tragic. And we get this 3x3 grid of panels kind of showing the aftermath, and there's a picture of the nice before times. But anyway, she gets to the hospital, she's going to make it, but it's obviously a situation no one likes, and the girl's mother comes in, again, divorced, and punches him. It's really not his fault, but I totally see why you did that. And I do like also the little pin on his collar is a tiny little Danny DeEvil there, so that's fun as well. But it looks like the stress is causing her to open the wounds, and that wound also a little Danny DeEvil shape forming in the blood there. But yeah, he's not doing too good. Now he goes to see his father, but Halloween is going to get there first. She barges in, and he is there working on this giant figure. Is it a statue or a huge animatronic? And it looks like it has horns on it. Boy, are we waiting to see what's underneath that sheet. But yeah, a cool wide shot of him kind of working in his laboratory there. And the guy, they start to talk when Sam comes in, and he goes, "What, you're having secret meetings with Dad now?" And she brings up the good point. I was just talking to him like you were literally just about to do. So yeah, that sort of point of trust where simply just talking to your father, they start to bash at each other for that, which is really nothing, but they're just so suspicious of each other. But then we do get the enough, and the father lectures and says, there's people who want to shut this place down. It's us against them, not us against each other. There are people who hate horror and want to close this place. Those are the real enemies. And yeah, you do in real life do kind of get this outlook where a lot of people just absolutely hate horror things, and that is kind of, reincorporating a real world thing back into this. But the other characters, we get the sister meeting with the vlogger, and we see him, but he's not actually in the park. He's looking at old footage and doing a bit of editing. Yep, editing. Lots and lots of YouTube work is editing. I try to keep these things to minimal because, man, you get into editing and you can be all day there. But she talks to him, talks about trying to find her brother, and he shows her, says, hey, there really is something with the park. Look at that. And here's them on the ride. I love the ride with the Grim Reaper there. But a younger version of Arthur Dante. So is it really a ghost if it's a person who's living? And why is he younger? But then, of course, this whole family dies after they leave the park. But she says, I want to get in. I need to investigate the park. And he says, well, there is one way in, but it's kind of dangerous, and I don't know if I would really recommend it. And I'm going to cut you guys off pretty quickly after this. This is where a lot of the fun starts, but yeah, she does have to sneak into the park by climbing up the side of one of the roller coasters. And yeah, you can see the sun setting. I love this, you know, purple and blue in the sky. And just a good bit of action to start off, and what do you call it? Not supposed to be in the park, yet you're gonna snoop around anyway. And there's some fun stuff that happens after this, but really just the fact that this is where we're getting to. You tell me fun sneak around in the park late at night, and then you tell me issue 4 is the end of a plot arc? Ah, man, I am really, really wanting to see where issue 4 goes. That should be fun. Like I said earlier, it's going to be hard to really push this very extreme and then still go back to the park in day-to-day life. You know, this is a place that is still open to the public, so I do wonder how they'll balance horror extreme stuff with this still being open. And yeah, I am really, really curious where this is going to go. So I do really like this book. Yeah, I am curious. You know, we're nearing the end of volume 1. It's a good story so far. What will all the other volumes be like? I don't know. It's pretty cool. But I do like this. I like how Images always released it with these, you know, nice thick covers, even if they don't close all the way sometimes when you're displaying them on YouTube. But still, a really good book. Williamson's made some good stuff. He did Nailbiter before, and I think this whole team did Birthright before. Overall, just a really fun thing for Image to put out. Definitely recommend it, and I really can't wait to see what happens next. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This will probably be my Image Comics playlist, where you can see the first 2 videos for that, but also a bunch of other stuff from Image, including the first volume of Nailbiter, my review for that. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Image playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.